Good morning, team. It is Tuesday, June 1st. We hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. Thank you for joining us. I'm Amy Kaur, and I'm joined by Kevin Van Eck, and we are live out of the Goose Island office. So today we have another round of agent interviews. I am super excited. So let's grab our tea, our coffee, and let's jump into our most recent episode of Coffee with Amy and Kevin.
Yes, good morning, Amy. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got our coffee. Do you have yours? Hope so. So today we've got a great topic. We're continuing our agent interview series, and we've got two amazing brokers with us today. And so we'll introduce them in a second. But one of the things that we're going to be talking about today is stamina throughout the market. Now, our two guests have spent number of years, nearly 20 years, each of them in the industry. So they've seen many different types of markets. And for those of us working in this market, we know it's easy to become exhausted. It's easy to fall away from focusing on the positivity. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about today with our two guests.
That's right, Kevin. And our first guest, I'm super excited to introduce and welcome, is Lori Johanneson. She has been in real estate since 2002, joined at Properties in 2020, and is out of our Naperville office. And prior to getting into real estate, Lori was an analyst. So welcome, Lori. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Amy. And I have my coffee and my opportunity mug. So hopefully everybody else is using this mug, and I'm happy for this opportunity. So thank you.
Yes, we're excited. Thanks for joining us.
So it's great. Our second guest, Danny Glick. Danny's been in the industry since 2003. He joined at Properties in 2007, currently out of the East Lincoln Park office. And here's something interesting I did not know, but now I'm looking back on all of our interactions. Danny studied to be a psychologist. So be careful what you say when you're interacting with Danny.
Thanks, Kevin. I joked with Kevin before we started the show that I have a big file on him. So if anyone is interested, please DM me directly.
Scary stuff.
Signing up right now. Send me the file. I want all the scoop.
Well, thank you for joining us, both of you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
All right, so let's get into it. We've got some great stuff to talk about today. So first off, both of you have been in real estate since the climb in 2006, the crash in 2008, and now the current climb back. So starting with you, Lori, what's been your favorite market to be in or to work in, and why?
I would have to say it's this market because I've been through 2006 and 2008. I know what it takes. I know that 2006 was incredible. Tons of business flowing. People thought they could do it on their own. Same thing is happening this year. 2008 when it crashed, a lot of the reasoning that fell behind it was 100% financing, no good appraisals. And it's not happening this year. So every time I hear it's going to be another 2006, 2008, I have the experience and background that got me through it the first time to help me be more experienced and equipped to guide my buyers and sellers through it this year. So this year.
That's great. I mean, it's so true. It is a different market. And I think being able to articulate the differences, particularly from 2008, are so important. So Danny, how about you? Which market are you enjoying or have you enjoyed?
Yeah, I have to agree with Lori. I think this is the best in the last 20 years in my career. This is by far the market that I've enjoyed the most. And I do think it's interesting also to compare, kind of the frenetic pace that we're at right now versus, the tools and what consumers had at their disposal, in 2006 and 2007. I mean, it's 15 years ago. And so access to information is different. And the role that we're playing now has changed quite a bit. And so I think it's even more exciting now. I feel like, like Lori said, buyers and consumers feel very empowered and knowledgeable. I would say that actually they need us more now than ever. So I think it's an awesome time, the best time to be a real estate agent.
That's really cool insight. Yeah, I think right now, like you said, it is. And Lori, I'm going to ask you about this. I want to ask a follow-up question to something you said about the difference in the market. between now and then. But with that, the difference between now and then there was risk of a bubble. We didn't know it was coming. Everyone was buying and selling. What do you feel is going to happen, let's say 12 months, 6 to 12 months from now? If you could make a prediction, pull out the crystal ball, what is going to happen in the market?
So my prediction is, I read a lot, I'm constantly educating myself, like, who knew this was going to happen? And I think there are people who already knew what was going to happen. The baby boomers are now moving and their kids are now buying. And so I think there's going to be enough buyers that are going to be out there for probably the next 2 to 3 years. I do think it will probably slow down, but I don't think values are going to necessarily dip. I do think just more people will decide to list and sell their home because they're going to see more homes coming on the market, and the comfort level will start to be there. I don't think next year it's going to crash. Maybe interest rates are going to start going up, so people's affordability will go down a little bit. But all in all, I think we're going to be great.
It's great. Thank you for sharing that. Now, Danny, you had mentioned a frenetic pace in this market, right?
Yeah.
It's energizing, but there are some agents we know that, they're curling up in a ball because it might be too much. Or Amy, last week on Coffee, talked about the treadmill market, where it feels like, especially if you're new in the industry, you're jumping in and going. How do you remain calm, centered, positive, Danny? What's your secret?
Well, first of all, I'm glad I appear calm, centered, and focused. We and I personally changed philosophically how I envisioned my role to my clients. And that's been the biggest shift. And I think irrespective of this market, but, I feel though now I'm a fiduciary. They need me. They need us. And so I feel an obligation to make sure that I'm there for them. And so it's a little bit different. When I used to make a call, I sometimes felt like I was bothering a client, or I didn't know, I felt it felt different. And it's all just a mind shift. It's all a mind shift. But I feel like now, because it's so chaotic and it's so frenetic and properties are hard to find and you have to move fast, people are depending on us more so than ever. Are we overpaying? Or, how does the process work? Am I jumping into this too quickly? Should I pump the brakes? Like, all of those types of questions are things they can only ask professionals. And so I really feel that energizes me. I feel like they need me. And so when I wake up in the morning, it's like I have to serve these people that are in need. So that's what keeps me focused.
Well, you're communicating with them too, which I think you're taking that step for granted, because you are talking with the people and staying in contact with them is why they need you, is because they know you're there for them, because you're communicating and they know that you're working for them, which I know a lot of agents out there are just kind of waiting for the next thing to pop up on the MLS or Zenlist or the coming soon group that they're a part of, and not actively communicating and talking to their clients. So I think that probably sets you and I apart from others, because we're doing that.
So then with that, how do you keep your clients motivated? Because we feel stress, or for us, we can either take the energy, harness it and put it back out there. What about for clients, especially buyers, Lori? How do you keep them motivated through that communication you're talking about?
So weekly communication, we call them at the beginning of the week. We call them at the end of the week. We're telling them everything we're doing right now. They see we're interacting with them on Zenlist, on that platform. We're texting them, we're calling them if they're not interacting back, and we're letting them know, hey, we saw a couple of these homes come up that were kind of within your search, but not quite there. But do you want to just go and see it just to compare? Or I also have a team that if we lost out on a home, my team is calling around that neighborhood and saying, hey, we just lost at 123 Main. We have a buyer who's super interested in your neighborhood. Have you thought about selling? So we're letting our buyers know, hey, we're there for you. We're looking out for you. We're going above and beyond for you. And I think because they see how calm I am and how hard we're working for them, they don't have to be as stressed and on every single website app that is known to man. Not that they're not on it, but they know we're working for them, and that's why they've hired us.
Yeah, I think that that's so huge. It's really sort of setting the tone, right? As the broker and kind of the leader and kind of leading your clients down the road, whether it's working with sellers who are trying to list their home or right now, particularly with buyers, because a lot of them are missing out. And, sometimes it is hard. And I know that both of you have such great energy. You're super well respected in the industry. But, I know both of you and Danny, you even talked about it. You kind of changed your mindset on the business. And I think when you do that, you tend to attract who is around you and the clients that you get. But, it's also about making sure that you do surround yourself with the right people. Support in this business is really important. So, who do you both surround yourselves with? I guess both, personally and professionally, to give you kind of the energy and the motivation that you need. Lori, what does your circle look like? And, how does that impact your day-to-day business?
So I have two circles that I'll speak of. One first is my team. I love my team that I've created around me that helps support not only me, but are reaching out to the clients as well. And it's just truly setting us apart from our communication and our effort standpoint. But when I'm not working, I'm training for triathlon. So I get up really early in the morning and I do a crazy workout, which sometimes I'm like, I can't even believe I did that myself. But the group I'm around they also have full-time jobs. They're working really hard, and we all set goals for ourselves on what we're going to do. And it's energizing, but then it helps me remain calm the rest of the day. I'm too tired to get too upset about anything.
Totally. You peak at lunchtime because you were probably up at 4 a.m. doing a swim when most of us were still sleeping. And did you know that Danny is a huge triathlete as well?
Oh, I didn't.
A little bit impressive.
Yeah, that's awesome, Lori. I didn't know that about you. We'll have to chat more about that offline.
For sure. I was thinking we should start our own little club.
There you go. There you go.
Totally. Kevin's all in. I mean, he's just going to start swimming. He already does the running on his Peloton. So he's got one of the three, and I'm biking. So Kevin, we really just need somebody to swim for us.
Yeah, we just need someone to cover that leg and we're good.
You're good.
Run, you got it all.
So Danny, do you have the same type of circle that Lori just mentioned? What kind of support do you have? I know you've got a team that you work with, but tell us how you get the support you need to kind of get out there and kick butt in real estate.
I have an amazing, we have an amazing assistant. I have an amazing assistant who's a big part of it. And then the agents that are actually, boots on the ground. We actually use this app. Which I highly recommend. And actually, Lori, you'll appreciate this because I discovered the app through triathlon training. But it's a constant conversation and little daily motivational tasks that we challenge each other with. And so there are some health related ones like working out 30 minutes a day or drinking 8 glasses of water. And when you do it, it pings the rest of the group, so if you didn't do your workout and the other guys did, you're like, I gotta go do this. But then we also have some professional measures in there as well. So, text an old client, handwrite a card to an old client, reach out to an open house person, reach out to a new client. And so each week we track and tally. And every day throughout the day, you'll see someone wrote a handwritten card or someone said a birthday note. And so it's a wonderful ongoing motivational tool that we've employed now. And so that keeps me motivated. It keeps me motivated. And it makes me feel guilty when I don't do something. So
guilt's very powerful, right?
Guilt's a great motivator.
Accountability is key.
Yeah. So so that's been wonderful. And then I consider our attorneys, our inspectors, our lenders a part of the team. And so we make sure that the language that we're using is uniform across kind of our whole experience with people. And that's been helpful too. Like everybody knows, I mentioned earlier about being a fiduciary and really looking out for our client's best interest. An inspector has that same responsibility. And so we've now chosen inspectors that are essentially, sending the same message. And so they hear that again and again and again, no matter who it's coming from. If it's a part of our team, it's the same message.
Well, that's great. I think hearing about who you surround yourself with, we understand now the positivity and the energy you both have, especially with the training in triathlon, running triathlons. I can't imagine doing that, but Amy, we are signing up. So if you could look into that. Right now, though, let's talk about positive influences. Like, who would you say has had the biggest influence in your life? Because both of you are successful. And so both professionally and personally, we can start with you, Danny. Who really can you point to and say they had a gigantic impact on my life?
I would say there are a couple of people. My dad, who recently passed, but he was 100 years old, has definitely allowed me to view things, just basically give me good perspective. And so that's been very, very helpful. Especially when things get tough. I mean, as positive as we may seem, we all experience tough days and difficult situations. And so he's been a person or was a person, and I still reference our conversations in terms of taking a step back and kind of like in the big picture of life, how damaging is this one, loss going to be, or this one, transaction going to be. And so that gives me perspective, not to kiss his butt, but I think Thad is, phenomenally energetic, phenomenally powerful, and I have over the years gotten a lot of inspiration from him in terms of, he built a company, kind of based around love and positivity. And so over time, I've tried to emulate that in my own practice and choose to work with people, both on the support side, but also clients who believe in what we believe in. And that has been very, very helpful. And I think that's the one thing I would say is like the key. It's like, we believe we help our clients, but if our clients don't believe that they need us as much as we think they do, we're probably a bad fit. And so kind of knowing who your audience is, knowing who you are to them, that's key. So I would say my dad and Thad in a nutshell.
My dad as well. My dad, he worked in a factory and worked harder than anybody I've ever known, worked nights, whatever, and did the best he could to help provide for the 4 kids that were in our family. And now my kids are my motivation and my why. School's hard for them. It's not easy. The changes that they're all going through right now is super hard, but they see me wake up, do my workout, work really hard for my clients, see me constantly picking up my phone, even though the joke is it's not 911. I'm not a 911 operator, but my clients I am. And so every time I think I feel down or exhausted, I look at them and I'm their role model, and I want to show them that the differences I'm making in other people's life. And if you work hard at anything, you can have whatever you want in life. And so there's going to be good and bad days no matter what. And even in this job that I always say I love, that's not always perfect. And you just do the best you can. Just make sure you love what you do. So that's perfect for me with that as well. So
it's all about an amazing love theme, right? But it is so true. I mean, we work so incredibly hard. And, as much as this business is on your own schedule, we all know the truth that it really isn't. So, weaving in how to balance personal and professional can be challenging. And I just love both of your stories as far as, who really helped you get to where you are at today. And both of you, pretty incredible, have been in the business for nearly 20 years. And as we've mentioned, you've seen some hot markets, you've seen some not so hot markets, slow markets, and we're still around. But could each of you share the top 1 or 2 really specific things you're doing now to ensure your business continues to grow? And Danny, let's start with you.
It's not going to sound super sexy or glamorous, but it's really been back to the basics. I mean, I am in touch with my clients, former clients. So, kind of the people that have, been my clients more so now than I ever have been before. It was for whatever reason, I don't know why. This might sound crazy because I'm 20 years in the business. It was always hard for me to like reach out to people and do whatever, wish them a happy birthday or send them a card for this or kids' graduation. But I forced myself even more so, I would say, in the past couple of years, and we almost doubled our business from 2019 to 2020, and now are on track to do it again. And so I can't stress enough that in a business that has so much leaned toward technology and, doing stuff online, searching stuff online, Zillow and all these stuff, the more you introduce personality and the personal touch, I feel like the greater the return. So that's been huge to keep our business growing. And we're doing some other things, some, electronic leads and some other things like that. And certainly a lot more social media and utilizing video a lot more. But the personal touch aspect of it, I just think there's nothing that you can do to replace it.
And I love that you say that it was hard for you, because if there's one thing that Kevin and I and our team, we talk so much about the relationship side and making sure even in a crazy business right now where maybe everyone's transactional and busy, still taking the time to actually reach out and make connection. So for all of you who know Danny Glick, yes, it's hard for him too. And so I think it's just so important to put that in perspective as newer brokers are trying to get into this business. It's never going to be easy, but as Danny shows you, it's all about shifting your mindset, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Lori, what about you? What one or two things do you feel like you're really trying to do right now to ensure that your business continues to grow?
So I'm just like Danny. I didn't know we were so much alike. It is hard for me. I am really working hard because in years past, I would text them. I like and comment on all their Facebook stuff. But to physically pick up the phone and call them and not feel like I'm bothering them. But I have a really good 36 touch in place. I've had it for years, and I just feel just being consistent with the processes and the steps of how I keep in contact with my clients. I do 4 client events, which actually really helps me pick up the phone and call them, make sure they saw the Evite and just say I'm thinking of them. And if they are unable to make it, it's an easy call back saying, hey, I missed you. So I pay to make it easy, but then I get to see my clients too. And then they know that I care, but just having being consistent, no matter how busy I am, and not forgetting that the newsletters need to go out, the handwritten cards need to go out, and the client events need to be scheduled. And just now I need to call them too and just say, hi, I'm thinking of you. How are you guys doing? How's the family adjusting? And it should be easy, but it's not. So
it's so true.
Yeah, I think both of you, it's clear to us, and Amy and I can see it in Amy's eyes, she agrees with me, that the two of you will continue to grow. And so just based on what you're talking about, the focus on the basics, even though it's not sexy, Danny, and even though it's not easy for either of you, the time and effort and energy you put in, it shows. So with that, thank you so much for taking time out of your day, coming back from a holiday. The market's crazy. We really appreciate you spending the time with us today.
thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
And everyone out there, make it a great week, and we'll look forward to seeing you next Tuesday.